All right. Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are back taking a look at the tropics. Tonight is Saturday, September 7th, 2024. This is your evening tropical update. I thought we'd do something different tonight and record the video with sound. I mean, maybe we'll try something crazy, see if it works. Let me know in the comments what you think about it. Very poor quality control and lack of effort on my part. My apologies. So we had a morning video that was recorded without sound. So we are going to rectify that this evening with a new one. So we are talking about Invest 91L, our tropical disturbance down in the southern Gulf of Mexico. We can see a lot of thunderstorm activity very close to the Yucatan and Mexico's southern coast. This is what's really developing. We have another low right here moving along this frontal boundary, but this is going to move south and get absorbed by the low to the south. So over the next couple of days, you're going to see this system wrap up with this system, and all this is going to eventually work its way back north, making landfall somewhere between Texas and Louisiana in the middle of this week. So that's our main player this evening. Hurricane Center is up to an 80% chance in the next 7 days, 60% in the next 48 hours. So we're getting closer to this actually happening, but a little too early for the storm really to form yet, but it is getting there, and that will be our main player over the next couple of days. We do have two other areas of interest, a low pressure area way out in the middle of the Atlantic, and then we have a wave leaving Africa, and that will be moving into this area in a couple of days. Two more to watch, but both those are far away, not moving particularly fast, and not on our area of interest over the next few days. So look at the satellite presentation as the sun sets over the Gulf of Mexico with the GOES 16 visible imagery. Over here on College of DuPage, we are looking at, again, our two areas of low pressure. We have the one clouded up down here in the Gulf of Mexico. We have our other one moving south. This system is likely to start decaying as it moves southward. And again, mostly just the moisture associated with this is going to come down. But basic setup is you have a big frontal boundary draped across the Gulf Coast. But this is going to slowly lift over the next few days as the big trough moves out and away. And what's going to happen is the door is going to kind of swing open this way, and then this storm is going to basically be able to just come up in behind all this and move on up and in. We do have an area of rotation, likely vortex reformation going on. It looks like earlier today we had a low-level vortex over here, but this looks like it's starting to kind of move away and shear off. And I think that what's happening is the low center is actually wrapping back around to where this thunderstorm activity is becoming more sustained and robust. And the low-level center is probably somewhere in here tonight, if I had to guess based off this satellite. And it's likely getting itself going. There's some solid low-level rotation on this side, not much on this side, so we probably just have a trough axis for now. But I think that over the next day or two, this is going to spin up pretty quick. It looks fairly healthy, and then it's going to get some more tropical juice. And this is already a pretty juiced up area in general, so not going to take long for this to all move and get together and then start moving northward. Look at the GFS here around Tropical Tidbits to give you an idea of the forward motion of the storm. We're here Monday, early morning on Monday. We can see a weak low pressure still getting itself going. This is going to ride dangerously close to Mexico for a day or two, and we'll have to micromanage to see how close this actually gets, if it's close enough to actually interact with land. I think that generally the thunderstorms will be sustained out in the water, which means the vortex will likely stay out in the water. I don't see enough to push this into Mexico, so it'll probably just scrape the coastline, bring them some rainfall, likely to Brownsville and other parts of southern Texas as well. But as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday, this is when the storm looks like it's going to have its best window to develop and where the models begin to drop the pressure more significantly. This is Wednesday afternoon. GFS showing us a 990 millibar likely tropical storm at this point. And then this moves more to the northeast as we go into Thursday. And then by Thursday morning, we have the storm moving ashore in western Louisiana. Now, this is just one model run. This is definitely not the end-all be-all here, but it kind of gives you a general idea of what we're expecting with this. Overall, the system's going to have a pretty good setup. It's got plenty of tropical moisture thanks to the stalled frontal boundary and many days of warm tropical air just being ran into that frontal boundary. The Gulf is really juiced up, and the waters beneath it are quite warm. Not going to have any issue with that. I think wind shear and time is going to be the biggest thing that's holding this back. We can see here GFS shows plenty of moisture up until about that landfall point. I think one thing we'll have to watch for is that I think that as the storm gets near, it may become more lopsided. I think you're going to see a lot of impacts to the north and to the east of that landfall point. I don't think this is going to be a big hit for like Texas, say, as long as it doesn't like come in way west of expectation. I think that generally you're going to see a kind of a sloppy, right-sided tropical storm where a lot of rain, wind, and even probably tornado impacts happen well off to the east of the circulation center. This moves into probably western Louisiana, eastern Texas. Again, goalposts are probably about Galveston, Houston, over to about Vermilion Bay and central Louisiana. I don't anticipate a bunch of track changes here, but somewhere in those goalposts is where you're going to see this move in. and again moves in around Thursday, but that dry air really starts to eat in on the backside of the storm. So I'm thinking in that last like leg of its journey, we may see the storm weaken or at least kind of get, the side of it blown out a little bit to where the highest winds and rain maybe come in well to the east. So folks in New Orleans, coastal Mississippi, even Alabama and some of western Florida probably need to pay close attention to the storm as well. Don't think just because it's way over in, Louisiana, that you may not have some significant weather impacts well off to the east, especially a lot of rainfall. Shear is kind of the same thing. The storm's going to have a nice shear environment down in the southern Gulf of Mexico, but as it moves closer to the Gulf Coast, we got a trough coming into the west over Texas, and that's just keeping this, ridge going and the shear going, and I think it's going to also hit some wind shear and drier air in that last leg. So hopefully not going to have wind, just anticipating it strengthening all the way up through landfall. It'll probably peak somewhere off the coast of Texas and then begin to kind of wind down a little bit and maybe kind of shear out to the east a little bit as it comes in. But again, I don't want people to think that that's not going to still bring some fairly significant impacts. Quick look at your ensembles tonight. Euro is coming into more view with the GFS. More members are online now, and the GFS has been stronger and more easterly weighted from the start. But right now, it still appears that the GFS is a little bit east of it, Euro's a little bit west of it. So we'll see which one winds up coming in. But again, you can see their landfall points are pretty close, and Euro is probably going to adjust to be a little bit stronger in those next couple of runs. Our other models here kind of showing you the same thing on tropical tidbits. They're definitely a very close to the Texas-LA border landfall. But again, don't focus just on that landfall point. Big impacts could be out to the east significantly from that landfall point. Intensity models are not very excited about this. They've all come down here today as they've been running the ship's models down to about 50 knots, and that's the highest one. Now, the ship's model is pretty good, so we definitely want to take that with a grain of salt, but a lot of the other models are keeping this near or even below tropical storm force. So it depends to see how fast we get this. Hurricane is not off the table, but I would say that given the setup, it's probably not very likely this is a hurricane. And right now, I'm anticipating strong tropical storm. I would lean higher than these models, but I would not be, wildly over what these models say. Rainfall to come. This is the GFS GraphCast, kind of showing you a broad swath of potential rainfall, anywhere from 4 to 6 inches for a lot of the Gulf Coast. And look at, again, how far these rainfall totals extend. They extend all the way into Pensacola and even further into western Florida. Although the model is probably overdoing these at some point, several more inches of rain are forecast in the next couple of days. You too, Northeast Florida, although this isn't really part of it for you. Just, a lot of moisture in that frontal boundary is going to create a lot of rainfall over the next few days. So don't discount how much rain can get squeezed out of this when you have a tropical system and a frontal boundary in September working together to focus that rainfall. You may get quite a lot here. So we'll go into the impacts in more detail tomorrow, but that's the latest I generally have for you guys this evening. Again, Invest 91L, tropical system is going to get going in the next about 24, 48 hours. It'll move northward. I could see tropical storm watches or warnings going up for parts of Texas as early as Sunday night into Monday morning for potential impacts Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, with that landfall likely somewhere in Louisiana or maybe eastern Texas on Thursday. But again, big impacts spreading off well to the east as well. So that's what I got for you guys tonight. We'll have more throughout the week, and of course, routine updates on the Facebook page. So until then, thanks for watching and have a good one.